Don't do this if you're starting to wholesale real estate or a wholesaler. Part 4, volume 4, whatever we're calling it. So most people start off wholesaling real estate as an entryway into real estate investing because it has a low barrier to entry, right? You could essentially get started really with no money at all, right? You could essentially do it for free if you just had time to be able to do it for free. So therefore, a lot of people get started in the business doing it and they might not know their numbers very well. Mostly rehab numbers. And this is what the point of this video is the rehab numbers. So predominantly I see two things that are just out of this world and with rehab numbers, right? So like I said, that's why I kind of started off the video talking about most people do it when they're new and they don't really know a lot about real estate, to kind of move into this point where since they're new, they don't know a lot about real estate. They probably don't know very much about how much it costs to actually fix up a house, right? So number one thing that usually happens is someone posts a deal online. Oh, it's a great deal. They're selling it for like wholesaling it for 100, needs only 5K of work, and the house going to be worth like 200,000, right? Obviously, what is it? That smells like a fish, looks like a fish, it's a fish. Is that what it is? I don't know what it is, but anyway, right? Too good to be true, right? You don't deals like that don't come around. No one's going to sell their house if it only needs 5, right? It just doesn't make sense, right? So that's the one thing I see all the time, and that's like an extreme example, but you get the point, right? So that stuff happens all the time. Super annoying, super annoying. Next thing, literally, oh, we're still recording, but my video is low on battery. The same thing, but the opposite end of the spectrum, where literally the house is like burnt down, roof's caving in, just shit show. Usually in the terrible city, terrible spot. Everything's the worst about this house, right? It's like you should just tear it down, literally. And I'm not a fan of tearing down houses. I'm always about like saving them, restoring them, bringing them back to life, right? But literally tear that boy down, right? So example, I see this house posted. It's literally the roof's caving in. Like the roof's caving in. There was a fire, and they wanted some like obnoxious. They still wanted like 100K for it, and the house was probably worth like, I don't know, 105 probably, right? And it only needed like 30K in repairs, and it was gonna be worth, I don't know, 140 or something. So again, I see that on the other end of the spectrum all the time too, where those numbers don't make sense, but it was just an example. The rehab is estimated way too low, right? For a house with a roof caving in, you're going to be spending way more than $30,000 to fix that up, right? By the time you fix there's a whole bunch of stuff that you got to fix, but by the time you fix all the structure of the house, put a new roof on it, that might be like 30 grand right there, right? You got to gut the whole house, you got to re-drywall, you got to new floors, you got to do realistically, you build a whole new house minus the 4 exterior walls, depending on how the fire burned, right? So there's no way that would ever cost like 30 grand unless you have like a house the size of a room, right? So anyway, if you are getting started in wholesaling and you don't know your numbers for rehabs very well, you can do 2 things. First thing is reach out to flippers in the area, be like, hey, I found this house, I think it needs this much work, help me out, right? Or the other thing you can do is just leave it off if you think it's a good deal, right? So those things kind of save you from being the guy that throws a house up that only needs 5K in repair and it's worth $1 million more, or being the guy that throws a house that should be a tear down and you acting like you can fix it up for like 30K, right? So the best thing to do is, number one, is reach out to someone that's flipping houses in the area and work with them and be like, hey, I got a house, I think it's a deal. Take really good pictures of it, mostly if you already got it under contract, and send it to the guy and be like, hey, I think it needs this much work. What do you think? And they, most of the time, will be able to tell, right? If someone sends me pictures of a house and they're like, hey, I got this house under contract for this much. Here's some pictures of it. I can tell you right away if I can buy that house or if I can't buy it. And if I can't buy it, I can tell you exactly how much I need to buy it for my numbers to make sense for me, right? So quick little tip. So anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out anytime, and I'll see you on the next one.